All right, as we are getting started now, lesson 6 brings us all into style, and it's a lot of fun working with color and some other things. So, what I would like you to do is go to lesson number 6, okay, and meet me at level number 1. It says it's a sample website. You'll notice the shape of this level is more a rhombus or a square, and that's because this is one to look at, not necessarily interact and perform anything. So once you get here, go ahead and click in and let's take a look at what you see. Okay, so this is a sample web page that's been created, and what you should be able to focus now on, I'll get myself out of the way, is you should see things that we haven't been able to do yet. Okay, so take a look at these. Start thinking, what do you see here as far as the formatting that we don't know how to do yet? Go ahead and pause and go ahead and have some discussion about that. Here's what I hope you have noticed. Color for sure. So we got purple and then some red. I see different sizes of fonts. I see italicized font. I see this underlining part here as well. As far as these tiny parts, that's probably like an H5 or an H6 heading is my guess, but it seems almost like it's different fonts. It could be. So these are things that we've been waiting for to finally get into now that you've got a handle on some of the content. Okay. So level number 1 was really just meant for you to kind of look at. So go ahead and hit the back arrow and then go ahead and hit the continue button here. And here's what I'm going to have you do. We're just going to do some investigation on levels 2 and 3. I don't want you to go farther than this today. Okay, we're not going to get into all of the specifics about this, but here's what I want you to notice or recognize. Okay, this project is using a new language to add style to the page. So it says with someone else explore both the index.html file, that's this one. This is all the normal stuff, okay? Notice there's something different here. I've told you before, we don't mess with anything until after the body tags. Notice now there's something programmed up here that you haven't seen before on line number 4, okay? Okay, and basically this is pretty simple. It's between the two body tags, just has 3 lines of content, each in different sized headings. Okay, however, they look a little different here. So then it says, hey, go ahead and explore. You'll notice in the style or in the file list, there's something called style.css. So when you click on this one, take a look, and what do you see? Okay. Things look different. They're connected somehow. What do you notice that's different about your HTML language that you've been programming in? Okay, and start to do some observation here. Okay, so spend a few moments, take a look at that, see what looks a little different. And then when you've got this one, and you've gotten through everything, you should see text align and color for some different things here. And notice that they're referring to H1 and H2, referring to the tags that are in your HTML. Okay, cool. You don't have to do anything here. Just go ahead and hit finish. You're just exploring again. But here's where I'm going to have you do some fun stuff. Okay. All right. So now in level number 3, now we finally have some more content here. Okay. Right here, it's got some odd world records. So you can see here, starting on line 7, here's all of this content that goes on and on and on. You've got tons of different world records and so on. Okay, cool. You'll notice there's a second file in the file list called style.css. There isn't a lot here, but it tells me something about my H1 heading, that it says color red. Okay, and what it says is find that line on line 2 here that says color red, change the code for the color of H1 heading from red to a different color. Cool. Okay, so go in here and change it. Now you can change it to whatever color you want. If you want it to be green or purple and you're like, whoa, what is all this that's popping up? Cool. Make sure you don't accidentally delete the semicolon at the end. You're going to realize we've got some specific syntax things, meaning these symbols we have to have in certain places, just like you use these symbols in HTML. Now we're going to use colons and semicolons a lot when we're programming in CSS. And notice when I did green, what? It changed it right away. Or if you want it to be something different, play around a little bit, make it be something like blue, and then, oh, and there's blue violet. What? That doesn't even look like, oh, do you see what happened? I accidentally deleted the semicolon. If I put that back there, boom, changes color. Cool. So be careful as you go and start playing with some things. Okay. Now, I don't want you to go any farther than this because number 1, I want you to play around a little bit with line 3 where it says font size. Okay. It says 24 for this. And why don't you go and change this a little bit? Make sure you leave the PX, but change the numbers to be something like 30. See what happens. Or do you want it to be like 35? Okay, play with it a little bit so you get used to it. The other thing I want you to do is you've hopefully noticed now once you start typing in a color, so if I start deleting all the letters, leave the semicolon, but if I start typing something like, say, I want purple, and I just start typing the letter P, I get all kinds of things that show up. What? This is crazy. There's hot pink, for example. Okay. So here's what I want you to do so that you can kind of get used to some of these crazy colors that are available to you. Okay. And I need you to watch and do this with me. Open up a new tab. When you get there, you're going to type 2 things, the letter W and the number 3. Okay, a W and a 3. And probably the first thing that's going to show up is something called W3 Schools. Click on it. Okay, you should see something that has like this W with the number 3. Go ahead and click on this where it says W3 Schools Online Web Tutorials. Boom. Get to this page right here. Okay. In fact, I'm going to tell you to bookmark this because anytime that you want to figure out how do I do this, I am going to be very honest. I'm not going to know all the answers. And this is going to be a great resource for figuring things out that you want to do that might go above and beyond what we're learning in code.org. Okay. Sweet. All right. So the first thing that I'm going to have you do is where it says search right here. I want you to type in HTML space, and then I want you to start typing the word color and then find color names. HTML color names like this. And here's where I want you to have some fun and play around the rest of the hour today because it says here that most modern browsers, meaning whether you're using Chrome or Safari or any of the other ones like Firefox and those kinds of different web browsers, most of them support the following 140 color names. Okay. Now we'll get into discussing, all right, what do these hex numbers mean and all these codes and stuff. But for right now, I just want you to scroll through and look at all of these color names because it's just amazing. And this will give you a chance then when you're back on level number 3 in code.org right here, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I wanted to use that funky name called blanched almond. Well, there it is, blanched almond. Put that in there. You can see what it looks like. Okay. Oh my goodness. So spend today, having some fun, investigating, exploring. Go ahead and look around on W3 Schools and see what all kinds of options that you have there to play with today. Okay? Good luck. Have some happy programming and investigate color.